Let me tell you a story from a long, long time ago about a young man on his journey into something magical that would change his life forever. It all started with a random Google search that would result in me seeing a picture of Rainbow Dash. The image was interesting and caught my attention somehow more than others, and so I Googled the name, Rainbow Dash. What a rabbit hole that was. The natural result from Googling Rainbow Dash is the Rainbow Factory. And having no prior exposure to the show, I stumbled right into one of the most iconic creations from the fandom. I listened to the reading by Setzer Trancer, and it was captivating. My young self had never experienced something so graphic and edgy and intense in my life. I wanted more. I needed to figure out just what this was all about, and so I found out about the show. I pulled it up and managed to watch just the first episode. And I loved it a lot. It was such a contrast to what had led me to that point, but it was endearing and fun to watch. And so I binged all the episodes, released shortly thereafter. And what an introduction to something I had no idea would lead me to what I am today. The next big event that happened was me sinking into more and more of the audio fiction that people had created, specifically from the reader A's-Caw. All of his classic stories really founded my understanding of the fandom and the wild imaginations that some authors had. But he started flipping on and off whether he would stay in the fandom or not. And so I thought, somehow, that I could do exactly what he did, but better. Boy, was I wrong. February 26th, 2012 is the day where my first public reading went up. Bluttershy. In the old style of YouTube. Just take a listen, and we can see exactly how it started. Side note though, it's really cool that the Wayback Machine has the first image of my channel with the old YouTube layout.
Hello there, everypony. My name is Captain Brony. You probably have never heard of me because this is my very first video, and I'm going to be reading a fan fiction called Bluttershy.
Oh boy, that was rough. Anyways, that was the very first reading I had ever made. And it's hard to imagine that I would go on to do this for almost 10 years. That was a little bit of foreshadowing, but let's keep walking down memory lane. The next large event that I can remember was the reading of My Little Slave. This was a story that was honestly fucked up. But back in the day, things were just different. This absolutely was my most viewed video and series, with the first chapter finalizing at over 100,000 views before I privated it. I never imagined in my life just how many people would be interested in this kind of stuff. I had no concept when I started the channel. All that changed with MLS. It was a pillar that separates the veteran followers from the newer ones. We keep trotting along, come across the next series, which I would consider a big stride in the channel, the Scootaloo Diaries. This was another giant titan that pushed my videos in front of a bunch of people and encouraged me to continue going. The momentum the channel kept getting, growing and growing, great story after great story. I was loving what I was reading, and I think it was translating well to the audience. Here are some of the absolute favorites or landmarks in the channel that did really well. Silent Ponyville, An Island, Two Mares, and a Bottle of Rum. The Vampony Chronicles. Solar Embrace, A Weekend Made for Spike, Love of a DJ, Apodysophilia, Silent Night, A Night with Flutterbat, Twilight Sparkle Rents a Bulldozer, Dragon Lord's Consort, Slay Not Lay, and The Unconverted One. This kept going on and on. The stories were fun, weird, interesting, popular, all the above. It was a great time to be listening to stories, as not only me, but other creators were pumping out some of their best works. And then it all came crashing down. October 24th, 2018. I had received 2 strikes back to back, removing my ability to post and let people know what was going on. And then the 3rd strike came very delayed, sending the channel to the grave. It was a sad time. So much of what I had worked to accumulate was gone. And so I took a break for a few months. I sat back and took it all in and reflected. I've been going through a lot in my personal life at the time, and everything just seemed to be collapsing all at once. It took a long time for me to get my drive back and to find a new way to be interested in readings. After a few months, on February 8th, 2019, I came back. I posted again. It felt great to be back, reading with a whole new motivation. I had also built a better support platform on Patreon to provide benefits to supporters and some financial footing to help put back into the channel. These earnings I was able to upgrade to better and better equipment, hire some voice actresses and voice actors, and get some new art for the channel. And that leads us to today. Over 2 years already after the new channel was made, and so many more great stories were featured. A ton of people have joined the Discord and hung around, and so many new friends have been made. So, what's the difference? What's this video about? It's time to move on. I've graduated from university with a bachelor's degree. I'm starting the next chapter in my life. It's been a great journey, but it's time to pass the torch on to someone else. It's time to step out of the reading fandom. I want this video, though, to cover everything. And there are several interesting things that were going on in the background that I wanted you all to know about. It is a bit embarrassing. I technically consider these my failures, since they're incomplete projects that will never be finished. But I figure it's better to have everything out in the open. The first was that for the fans of my best friend Luna, there was a sequel story that was going to be fully voice acted. It was going to be probably my biggest creation yet, but plans fell through. My best friend Stella focused on Stella and Frederick's relationship, and I had cast someone for both roles. A cool, level-headed Frederick and a spunky, Scottish Stella. It was really fun to work on the project, but unfortunately, it may have been a bit too ambitious, and everything fell through. The Unconverted One was cancelled by the author. It saddens me because this one was one of the most fun stories I had in a long time. People always asked me when the next chapter was, but there would be no more chapters to come. And I did have plans to finish the Silent Night trilogy. I was going to go back through and redux every single video up to this point before surprising everybody with finishing the 3rd book. Maybe that one was a bit too large of a project. And lastly, there was in-progress designs for a bit of merch for my biggest supporters. Some of you may remember the dockies that I gave away a long time ago, but I wanted something more fashionable that you could wear out and about. Something that if someone saw, they would know. But I already feel really bad for leaving so much on the table, and so I set plans in motion to ensure at least this goal was met. It's meant to be a celebration of the incredible support you all have given me, and a permanent memory for the channel. You might have noticed I've been wearing it this entire time. It's available for a short time as of this video going live. It's a full print shirt that has Scarlett's cutie mark. And yes, it's an innuendo. The video is going up Friday, July 16th, 2021, and the shirt will no longer be available after July 30th. so you have 2 weeks if you want to buy it. It's been a crazy decade, but it's time to move on and move forward. I don't plan on leaving YouTube forever. I've become addicted. I got that creator itch. I am definitely going to be coming back whenever I have a new good idea that I want to share and what I'll do next. Who knows? Maybe something in the next generation of MLP will spark my interest. Until then, though, try not to think of this as the end, but simply the end of Chapter 1.